Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Thank you very much for tuning in for another day here at the Aquarium project. I am sorry, I didn't make a video on Sunday or Saturday this week. Just I've had some, personal stuff going on and that, and I didn't quite, I wasn't in the right space to be making videos in a way that would be adding value to you guys. So yeah, we just did skip them, but back at it, back again. It's a new week, and I thought, what better way to get cracking on this new week than we could talk about something that anytime we talk about it seems to get a lot of interest, and that is summer ponds. So when I say a pond, most people are going to think of your classic goldfish or koi pond, zen kind of vibe. And yes, of course, that's a good idea. They're awesome, but they're not 100% what we're talking about. What we're going to be talking about today is a more temporary pond for a season. So we do a season's pond for a summer, and we can actually keep a lot of tropical fish in there. The way I wanted to start it though is with some disclaimers. Throughout this video, we're going to be talking about New Zealand and in particular Auckland, that context. So I don't want, be careful. Obviously, you'll need to consider your exact area, your exact climate, and all that kind of thing in terms of what kind of fish you can do and how you can do them and all that. But I'm going to just be talking about my experience, which is obviously in the Auckland region. So with those tubs or those ponds, what you can use is you don't need to do the big full in-ground dug-in ponds. Even just raised ponds is a good idea. So what I've got in my house is I use I have a big barrel, I don't know, probably this big, that is cut in half, and it still holds water and everything. And so I just have that. People can use wine barrels. There's a big plastic drum. You can use those IBC water containers. You can use storage boxes from the warehouse or something. Just any sort of thing that's gonna hold water. Of course, you can use an aquarium or a proper pond. You can get a fiberglass preformed pond, or just a normal pond liner pond. Any sort of outdoor water holder, basically, is going to be perfectly suitable for what we're talking about. Obviously, I wouldn't say you want a decent bit of room, but not a little 20-liter tank might be a bit of a pain, but. So my barrel probably holds about 100 liters, and that's more than enough. So yeah, and then in terms of how to set it up, just set it up with the same way you would with an aquarium. So water, you'll want some decorations in terms of stuff for the fish to hide in, maybe some rocks, some driftwood, ornaments, and then heaps of plants. Plants is a really good option. So you can use the water lilies and that kind of the more pond plants. Or you can use aquarium plants. So in mine, I've got quite a bit of Rotella rotundifolia and Ambulia. Got some Java moss, Java fern. What else do I have? I just have all sorts. Probably some polysperma, Rotella macrandra, duckweed, the floating Indian fern. Basically any sort of hardier plant. I wouldn't chuck any softer or more difficult to grow plants in there, but basically anything that's relatively easy to grow will be good. The question you get asked about a lot is, I have got asked about a lot, is in terms of filtration. So I don't run them with filters for a few reasons. One, I always keep a deep gravel bed, so gravel or whatever, it gives a lot of surface area. But also it's just more nature is going on. There's more microbial processes and stuff. You can get more natural uptake of nutrients in that, plants growing and all that. And you start with a very small amount of fish. So with my pond, I'm doing the albino cherry barbs. I've got, I think maybe 4 adults, and then now there's fry. But yeah, start with maybe 4 adults, and it's so few fish to the amount of water. The bacteria will be processing all the waste naturally anyway, even though you're not strictly got a filter. But yeah, I find that's a perfectly adequate means of keeping it clean. Do you have to do water changes is another question. I like to just for aesthetic reasons, but you probably don't need to. I just keep an eye on it. as we said, in this kind of environment, a lot more sort of nature is going on. Um, what do you need? What sort of fish do you want to start thinking about if you're wanting to do this? Obviously, it's going to vary a lot according to how big your tub is. If you've got one that's like 1,000 liters, you can do some stuff that you might not be able to do in like a 20 liter tub. But I mean, any sort of live bear is a good idea. So like mollies, swordtails, platies, guppies, they'll just go absolutely mental. Barbs is another good one. I've got cherry barbs, but you can do like golden barbs, rosy barbs, like any of the barb species is a good idea. I find corydoras a good option. Now, not all corydoras are the same, but like the Aeneas maybe might be a good option. Some of the slightly cooler water and less sort of sensitive ones might be a good option. But yeah, basically you can do it with anything. So plenty of tetras, like the easiest form tetras, live bearers, catfish, like basically any of that kind of thing. And so the question, I guess, is why do we do this? Now, so number one, obviously, is it's fun and it's cool. I just sit there or stand there with my coffee and just look at it, so that's always fun. But your fish will breed like nobody's business. So like, obviously, in this outdoor body of water, there's going to be heaps of like insect larvae. You'll grow heaps of algae, get the green water and stuff. So like, there's such a massive abundance of live food. You don't even really need to feed the fish for most applications because there's so much going on. They'll be so fat and happy, but they'll just be feeding on these insect larvas or nibbling on the algae or that kind of thing. Now, I do feed them every now and then just for fun. I'll chuck a little bit of flake food in maybe once a week, once a fortnight, but yeah, I mean, they don't need it strictly. That's more for my personal benefit than the actual fishes. But yeah, they grow so much faster. Having all this live food, they breed so much easier. The natural sun tans them. It's just basically one of those things. There's so many benefits. You'll really get a lot out of keeping them in this environment because yeah, it really just does really showcase the fish well in their natural environment. Looking down at them top down is also another really fun thing that might be a fun option for you to look at. But yeah, honestly, I can't really recommend it enough. I did also, so when I was setting up my tub pond, I set it up a couple of weeks ago. So that's basically what's gone on there. You kind of want to wait till it's a little bit warmer. So you don't want to be chucking fish in like in the middle of winter because they're not going to survive. And you do want to pull them out. Once it starts cooling down, you want to start catching your fish out. Because the last thing you obviously want is for it to get too cold and for them to all die. 99% of these fish aren't going to be able to survive over winter. You can try white-crowned mountain minnows or paradise fish, or obviously goldfish. In the New Zealand context, there's good options that will be able to survive over the winter, but will really kind of come into run and just breed up a storm and look awesome in the summertime. But yeah, when I was setting up my pond a few weeks ago, I made a couple little videos. I was considering making it into a full long form video, but I decided against it. So here I'll just put in this little video that maybe just shows a bit of what I'm talking about and how I set it up. So here you go. Hope you guys enjoyed this little quick interlude. So here we've got this little tub pond. It is raining as I'm recording this, but it's just like a barrel chopped in half, and I'll put some plants and ornaments and stuff just to give shelter. But there's a few other little bits and pieces. So this is what we're going to be adding the fish to. So it'll be a little bit hard to see in here, but in this thing is what we want to put in. So there's a bunch of albino cherry barbs that we're hoping to breed over summer. So yeah, I think that should give you guys a bit of a look at my setup so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, with the whole kind of tub pond thing, I would really like to see it get bigger in New Zealand because I think it's something that would really add a lot of value to people. It's one of those ones that's like, it's quite popular, you know, you see people talking about it like in the US and that, but not so much in New Zealand. So I think it's one of those ones, if we can build it up, it would be a really awesome thing. But no, make sure you let me know what you're doing, what your setups are like, what things you're going to try to breed, what plants you're going to try to grow. Because it is one of those really fun little ones that's obviously pretty easy and cheap to set up, but well worth it. I mean, it would be a good little side hustle. You set up a few ponds and crank out some fish over the summer, then you sell them once it starts to cool down. You know, might sell them to a local shop or something. You can get a little bit of money back. But yeah, I mean, I do think it's a really cool idea. So please feel free to let me know. But yeah, that's basically all we had for today. I'd really love to hear your thoughts, of course. But no, if you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. That really helps the channel out. Obviously, the more people part of the Aquarium Project family, the better. But yeah, thank you guys very much, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye!